Pisces gets called the gentlest sign in the zodiac, the dreamer, the empath, the old soul, but nobody talks about what's actually happening underneath all that softness. Today, we're going deep into the 10 darkest truths about Pisces that most astrologers won't say out loud. Number 6 is the one that ruins relationships without either person even realizing why. Let's get into it. Fact number 1. They live half in reality, half somewhere else. Pisces doesn't fully commit to the present moment the way other signs do. Part of them is always somewhere else, replaying a memory, imagining a future, escaping into a story. It looks like daydreaming from the outside. From the inside, it's closer to a survival skill. If reality gets too heavy, Pisces simply isn't fully there for it. That's comforting until it isn't, because it also means they can drift out of a relationship, a responsibility, or a hard conversation without ever technically leaving. Fact number 2. They will let you drown before they'll tell you they're struggling. Pisces is famous for absorbing everyone else's emotions. But ask them how they're actually doing, and you'll usually get a vague, deflecting answer. This sign has an almost martyr-like instinct to carry pain quietly rather than hand it to someone else. It reads as selflessness. Underneath it, there's often a belief that their own suffering matters less than everyone else's, which means the people closest to a Pisces are frequently the last to know how bad things really got. Fact number 3. They can lie to themselves better than anyone in the zodiac. Denial isn't a weakness for Pisces, it's a coping mechanism they've perfected. They can look directly at a situation that's clearly wrong for them, a relationship, a job, a pattern, and construct an entire narrative where it's actually fine, actually meaningful, actually going somewhere. It's not stupidity, it's a very specific talent for editing reality, just enough to make it survivable. Fact number 4. They disappear instead of confronting. When a Pisces gets hurt, the instinct isn't to fight, it's to fade. Slower replies, vaguer plans, a quiet withdrawal that's never announced and rarely explained. By the time you notice the distance, they've often already emotionally left, weeks before the physical distance follows. Confrontation feels like drowning to this sign, so they'd rather swim away silently than have the hard conversation at all. Fact number 5. They fall in love with potential, not people. Pisces doesn't just fall for who someone is, they fall for who that person could become. In the story, Pisces has already written for them. This is the sign most likely to stay in something long after the evidence says they shouldn't, because leaving means giving up on the version of the person that only ever existed in Pisces' imagination. Fact number 6. They'll forgive the same mistakes so many times it stops meaning anything. Pisces has an almost bottomless capacity for compassion, which sounds like a gift until you watch it get exploited. They'll rationalize a broken promise once, twice, a dozen times because leaving feels crueler to them than staying and absorbing the damage. The tragedy is that the people who take advantage of this rarely get called out. Pisces would rather quietly resent someone forever than confront them and risk conflict. Fact number 7. Their empathy has a hidden cost. They can't always tell whose feelings are whose. Pisces absorbs the emotional atmosphere of a room so completely that they sometimes lose track of where someone else's feelings end and their own begin. This can look like deep intuition, and often is, but it also means a Pisces can walk into a conversation feeling fine and walk out anxious, sad, or angry for reasons that were never actually theirs to begin with. Fact number 8. They use escapism as a full-time coping strategy. Whether it's music, fantasy, substances, screens, or just retreating into their own head, Pisces reaches for escape the way other signs reach for confrontation or control. It's rarely framed as avoidance to themselves. It's framed as processing or needing space. But the pattern is the same. Reality gets uncomfortable, and Pisces finds a door out of it rather than a way through it. Fact number 9. They're the sign most likely to play the victim, even when they aren't one. because Pisces genuinely does absorb more pain than most signs, they can also lean on that identity a little too easily, using it to avoid accountability for their own choices. Not always consciously, but "I'm just sensitive" can quietly become a shield against ever having to say, "I was wrong." Fact number 10. Underneath it all, they're terrified that if they stop dreaming, reality will be unbearable. Every fact on this list traces back to the same root. Pisces built an entire inner world specifically so real life wouldn't have to be faced head on all the time. The escapism, the denial, the martyrdom, the fading instead of fighting. It's all protection against a fear that if they ever fully showed up in reality, exactly as it is, it would be too much to carry. Pisces' darkness isn't cruelty. It's a lifetime spent building an escape hatch from a world that felt like too much. If you want to see the sign that's basically the exact opposite of all this, that's Virgo, and we already covered them. If you missed Scorpio's dark facts, that one's linked too. This trilogy tells you a lot about how differently each element handles pain. Subscribe for the next sign.